You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Let's talk about Elizabeth City, North Carolina, where today a North Carolina judge denied the media's request to release the 4 body cam videos in the case of Andrew Brown Jr. But Judge Jeffery Foster did rule the videos from multiple body cameras and footage from one dashboard camera must be shown to Brown's family within the next 10 days.
The court is going to find that with regard to the media's request for release that the media is not a party contemplated under 132-1.4G for release. But if they were, and it was appropriate to release to them, the court undertook the analysis under G with regard to the release of recordings and finds that there is evidence that the release would advance a compelling public interest. There is evidence that the recording contains information that is otherwise confidential or exempt from disclosure or release under state or federal law. The court finds that the petitioner is not a person requesting or seeking to obtain evidence to determine legal issues in a current or potential court proceeding. The court finds, number 4, that it would reveal information regarding a person that is of a highly sensitive and personal nature. Number 5, that the release may harm the reputation or jeopardize the safety of a person. Number 6, that the release would create a serious threat to the fair, impartial, and orderly administration of justice. And number 7, that confidentiality is necessary at this point to protect an active internal and criminal investigation or potential internal and criminal investigation. The court therefore finds that that good cause does not exist for granting the petition of the media petitioners, and therefore that petition is respectfully denied by the court. That is my ruling. I'm going to prepare a order to that effect, and that will be prepared sometime this week, and I'll get that out to you in a formal written format at that time. All right. With regard to 21 CVS 261, the petition of the Pasquotank Sheriff's Department to release records to Khalil Farabee, who is the adult son of the deceased Mr. Brown. The court's going to find as follows, that this matter is properly before the court on the petition to release. To the extent that notice was required, notice was given by with Mr. Williams agreeing to hear the matter on behalf of his clients, but reserving his objection for lack of notice. The court has jurisdiction in this matter pursuant to GS 132-1.4A and all subparts. After hearing the arguments for the petition and the response from the district attorney for this judicial district and counsel for the respondents of all interested parties, the court finds as follows. 1, that the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department is a custodial law enforcement agency as that term is defined in the statute. Number 2, that Khalil Farabee is a personal representative under 132-1.4C4, and he's a proper person to whom the subject videos may be disclosed. The court considering the factors enumerated in subsection D of the statute. Number 4, that the court additionally considers the release of the video. In addition to disclosure, which the court finds is appropriate, I've also considered release under the statute using the same 8 criteria. And the court finds that, number 1, the release is a compelling public interest. Number 2, that the recording contains information that is otherwise confidential or exempt from disclosure or release under state or federal law. Number 3, the person requesting release is seeking to obtain evidence to determine legal issues in a current or potential court proceeding. But number 4, the court finds that release would reveal information regarding a person that is of a highly sensitive personal nature. The court finds, number 5, that the release may harm the reputation or jeopardize the safety of a person by release. Number 6, that the release at this time would create a serious threat to the fair, impartial, and orderly administration of justice. And number 7, confidentiality is necessary to protect either an active internal or criminal investigation or a potential internal or criminal investigation. Based on those findings, pending completion of the investigation and any decision regarding the prosecution of the potential defendant, the court orders as follows: that the 5 body camera videos be disclosed to Khalil Farabee and his immediate family within 1 degree of kinship, and 1 attorney licensed to practice law in the state of North Carolina. That is disclosure. That the video be held from release for a period of no less than 30 days and no more than 45 days. And that that will allow completion of any investigation being undertaken by the SBI and by the District Attorney's Office in this county. Number 3, that the state is to notify the court when such investigation is completed, and the court in its discretion will consider at that time further release of the video based on the factors as they exist at that time. The disclosure of the video shall occur within 10 days, and the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Department is ordered to blur or redact all facial and identifying features of the officers shown prior to disclosure. That means facial features, name tags, any identifying information of those officers prior to disclosure. The court in its final order in this matter will specify the time frames within which the video may be disclosed. In viewing the video, there were certain portions of the video that were conversations between officers, between superiors. I'm going to evaluate those videos, determine which portions are appropriate for release and or for disclosure, I'm sorry, and then we'll provide that in my order so that the videos can be properly prepared to be disclosed to the family. All that to be accomplished within the next 10 days.
Judge Foster will reconsider whether to release the videos in 30 to 45 days after the State Bureau of Investigation completes its investigation and a charging decision is made. Also during the hearing, DA Andrew Womble claimed the video showed Brown hitting officers with his car. Also, the FBI is launching a civil rights probe into the death of Andrew Brown Jr. Joining us right now is one of the attorneys for the family, Harry Daniels. He joins us right now. Harry, this is it's very interesting what took place today. We live streamed the hearing, and I swear the DA sounded more like the defense attorney for the officers, as opposed to an impartial person whose job is to get justice regardless of who is involved.
Roland, you're 100% right. I have the same impression. The district attorney is supposed to be the ambassador of justice. He sound like the defense attorney. I have never, in all my years of practicing law, saw anything that I saw today. The county attorney stands up, make a half effort. The district attorney gets up and he goes for almost 30 minutes as though he's the defense attorney. And the potential defense attorney for the officers, they kind of join in together against the county. Never seen that in my life.
The judge said they must show this video to the family within 10 days. Is that 10 business days or 10 total days? And when does the clock start? Is it tomorrow?
Well, in court, it's 10 total days. Courts don't have 10 business days. From 10 days, it can run through the weekend. It doesn't matter. 10 days is 10 days.
So that means so who decides they get to see the video? The sheriff's department or the district attorney?
No, pursuant to the statute, if you are a personal representative based on the statute, you get to see the video. So we have identifiable personal representatives pursuant to the statute, and those individuals will have the opportunity to see the video.
Right. No. What I'm saying is, but who shows the video? Is it the DA's office or is it the sheriff's department?
The sheriff's office.
So today is today is the 28th. So they must, based upon that deadline, the family must see these videos by May 8th.
That's correct. The judge said he had to look at some further redactions as it relates to maybe communication, identifying people's name, and or obviously faces and name tags. But you got to remember, Roland, it's a video of these individuals driving up on a truck like a mob squad. So people already know who they are based on that video.
And we're talking about a city of 17,000 people, and of course in the county as well. And so let's slow down. When the judge said that 30 to 45 days in terms of then it should be made released to the public. So now we're talking about that video may very well not come out until either the end of May or mid-June.
10 days, 45. I mean,
well, no. So the 10 days is when the family gets to see it. I'm talking about when it may very well get released to the public.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. It may be end of June, maybe July, and so there's no guarantee with that, based on what the judge stated before in his order.
The governor has called for a special prosecutor. Can you explain to our viewers and listeners exactly what the North Carolina statute is? Because I was talking to Reverend Dr. William J. Barber when I was down there, as well as today, and he said that the DA has to ask the AG to take it over. The AG simply doesn't have the authority to take it over.
That's correct. Actually, I talked to the Attorney General, Josh Stein, a couple of days back, and he expressed to me that in North Carolina, the district attorney has original jurisdiction, and the Attorney General cannot take it over just because. The Attorney General more than likely will appoint a special prosecutor in order to do so. But in North Carolina, the DA has jurisdiction, and it has to be requested by the DA in order for that to happen. So that is correct.
Are you and the other lawyers, are you asking this district attorney, Andrew Womble, to recuse himself and for him to invite in the state attorney general to take over this case?
We need an independent prosecution away from Pasquotank County. You're talking about deputy sheriffs involved, and we believe to be an unjustified shooting, and you have the district attorney, in fact, is a prosecuting officer using the situation, Roland. You would have judges in that county recuse themselves, or they would send the case to another county because they're so closely knitted and related to that particular county. So yes, we are asking for an independent prosecutor appointed by the governor, appointed by the state.
In terms of the next step, obviously the protests continue. My understanding that a group of pastors, they are planning to have a march on Sunday. The funeral is a funeral for Andrew Brown Jr. still slated to take place on Monday.
Yes, it is. It's still slated to take place on Monday. Monday, I believe, 12 o'clock. And one thing, Roland, I want to say that I listened to this district attorney talks about a car, Andrew, a car making contact to one of the deputies while he was backing up. Well, Roland, he was backing up and the officer was trying to open the door. Officer's going to make contact. And then he went forward and made contact again. What you did not hear is that Andrew Brown used that car as a weapon. Contact, weapon, two different things. Two different things. So let me get that very clear. And for this public to understand, Andrew Brown was shot in the back of his head while he was driving away. Bullets riddled his car in the rear while he was driving away. Point blank, that's the facts. The autopsy shows the bullet wounds in the back of his head. That's the fact. So this narrative, this cherry picking that this DA is doing, I don't know if he's trying to taint the jury, but that's his whole thing, that he didn't want to taint the investigation. He didn't want to taint the jury. But the only person that was tainting the investigation and tainting the jury today was the elected district attorney, Andrew Womble.
Here's the question. Who actually is running the investigation?
We don't know. I mean, as far as investigation, they say the SBI is running the investigation. The FBI is in now for a probe as well. So you may have to earn investigations. One thing I would tell you that the county officials in Pasquotank County, as it relates to the county, the sheriff, and the district attorney, they are incompetent. The argument that I saw today from the district attorney, it was appalling and disgusting. Then the position he took to try to admonish one of the members of our legal teams based on the video that she was given, the 20 seconds redaction is appalling. He should have never done that. And we are in defense of her. She's truthful. She has character, and she's very professional. She has no reason to lie, to agitate. Ms. Lasser is a fine lawyer, point blank period, a fine attorney.
So we don't know right now. We don't know if the district attorney is leading the investigation, if the State Bureau of Investigation is leading it. Is somebody going to come out and lay claim to, so we people know exactly who's doing what. When I was at the home of Andrew Brown Jr., where he lives, we showed the video yesterday. I interviewed the landlord. 2 investigators with the SBI stopped by there to try to see if there were video cameras that were on the inside, and those cameras were removed. And so, again, what's crazy is, who do you point to? Who's actually the folks to talk to? There's been no public statement. No one has come out to say, we are in charge of this investigation. If you have any information, contact us.
You know, Roland, what the SBI actually stated today in court, that they had no objections to the release of this video. If they are the investigatory body and they have no objection, why does the district attorney have objections?
Wait, hold on. So in court today, the State Bureau of Investigation says they don't object to the video.
The sheriff don't object, and the State Bureau of Investigation had no objection. They made no representation, but they didn't object. They had no objection to the release of the video. If the investigatory body, investigation, has no problem objecting, why the hell is the district attorney having a problem getting this video released out to the public? And to add to the point about these cameras that were located at Mr. Brown's house, well, the SBI is in charge of the investigation. SBI said we didn't get any cameras. The landlord said, yeah, it was cameras there. So the question is, Roland, who took the camera?
Yeah, and in fact, I talked to that landlord yesterday, and what he told me was, he said there were 2 cameras. There was a Ring camera, and there was a second camera. He said those cameras have been removed. He does not know who took the cameras and who possesses the cameras.
Correct. And the SBI investigation, they're very interested in those cameras. I'm not making any suggestion or anybody else, but the only people who was on the scene at that time and security scene was the Pasco-Tate County Sheriff Office. So where's the cameras? Where's those cameras? They couldn't take the city cameras because the city maintained the custodial possession. Those cameras were released. They didn't take the cell phone footage after the fact when they drug Mr. Brown out of the car after they had shot him dead. But anything in close proximity, it's not there. The body cam, the dash cam, now we have the Ring, the doorbell cam, and the other camera. It's missing because the doorbell cam and the Ring cam is not a possession or footage by law enforcement. If that camera is in the possession of the county, they must turn it over immediately because it's subject to the Public Record, Open Records Act.
Right, and how in the world can the Sheriff's Department be investigating themselves? That's why there's so many different questions here that need to be answered. Harry Daniels, we certainly appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Roland.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.